This is Dating Woes. Woohoo! Part 2 of the Gerald story. Oh, man, part 2. Okay, so part 1, we talked about me meeting Gerald on Tinder, going out with him on a couple dates. We got season passes together with Six Flags. Really cool guy, I thought. All my friends were like, he's cute, pretty attractive, handsome guy, really tall. Seems, potential. He was a PT situation. So the first debacle, I would say, that happened was the lying of career. Me finding out that he was not entirely truthful about his career. I know some people change their job titles to make them, feel more important. I remember when I was a teller at a bank, and I put that I was a banking transactional assistant, is what I put, because that's another word for teller. So I made myself feel like, more special with that title. But his was a little stretched, though, because he said he was a quality insurance engineer, but he was really a facilities coordinator / janitor. So it's like, really? Like, why did you... But, I digressed. I was, I didn't spend too much time on it because, I'm not a black man working. He's working. So, he's getting a paycheck. So that's not bad. A lot of people are not working out here. So I'm not trying to knock him for what he does. So the second situation happened one day. I was headed to a volunteer event I go to on Wednesdays at a women's shelter. And he calls me on my way there. And he's like, I'm just so upset with my job. I'm just frustrated and everything. I'm on like my manager right now. She's getting on my nerves. She gave me a really bad review. And I just had to leave. So I just went on ahead and I took I don't have no more vacation days left. And I don't have any more sick days left. So, I just took a bereavement day because, I was just like, frustrated and everything. And he was like, my uncle been sick. So, I took a bereavement day and everything so I could, get myself together. And, the time I was headed to the volunteer event, and I didn't really understand him at first. And I was just like, I'm so sorry about your uncle, And he was like, yeah, he's been real sick. I was just, I didn't think nothing of it. So I was like, he's like, when you get done with your event, you want to go to lunch or something? And I'm like, sure. I was like, I sent him the address where I was, so we can go pick me up and we go over there to to go get something to eat. So I get finished with the event. He picks me up. I'm in the car, and I'm just like, I'm sorry about your uncle. I'm sorry about that. And he was just like, oh no, my uncle good. He at the house. And I was just like, but you took a bereavement day, right? And he was like, yeah, I took a bereavement day. That's the only days I had left to take because I don't have no more vacation days. And I was just like, sorry about that. I was like, do you know what bereavement means? Because, he was like, he was like, he took a bereavement day. And I'm just like, okay, so you took a bereavement day, but your uncle's alive. I'm like, I don't know if you know this or not, but you just killed your uncle. And he was like, what you talking about? I was like, bereavement is... I was like, when you take bereavement days, that means someone has passed on that is close to you and your family, and you need those days to bereave. I'm like, you need those days to, like, take care of responsibilities that you might have endured during that time frame. Or you're going to a funeral or something. That's what bereavement is about. Those are days that are given to people who are dealing with a traumatic experience. And so he was just like, oh man, that's not what that means. And I was like, that is actually what that means. I've had to take bereavement days in college. They give that to you if a relative passes away for exams, or if you're like, say for instance, your roommate passes away or something, that you can take bereavement days. They give you options for that. They give you bereavement days for if people pass away. I've taken bereavement days in work for when my grandmother passed away and things like that. I was like, there's bereavement days available that you can take for when someone passes away, not for you to get off work. So that was like kind of strike number 2 when I realized like that was his first like real job that he's ever had where he was given bereavement days. So it lets me know like, okay, so he's never had like a real kind of job before. He's not really college educated at this point. Like, so what else is this man lying to me about, basically? It's what I was thinking in my mind. So strike 3 comes, and strike 3 was more or less like, I would say just the kicker in a sense, because he started disappearing on weekends. We would talk all during the week, and then he would go kind of like ghost on the weekends. And with him, when we first started talking, he was like, he don't do social media. He had like one picture on Instagram. He had like hardly any followers. His Facebook was like not updated from like 2017. There was hardly any pictures on there. There's no posts on there about anything. So, you know, I kind of believe what he was saying, that he said he doesn't really get into social media. So I was like, okay, this makes sense. You don't have a social media presence, really. I Googled his name. Nothing really came up about him with anybody else. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. In a sense, I didn't like that he didn't really get into social media because I don't trust those kind of people. But, you know, I was going with it because, like, I would hang out with him all the time, you know, at late night, go to movies at midnight or something. We went to a couple premieres. When I hung out, bars, restaurants, things like that. So I didn't think anything of it, that he might be with somebody else. So I would say fast forward to a crazy situation that happened. I was getting weird phone calls, and I thought it was someone else doing the phone calls. So, and this is crazy because this is like me being Nyambi and who I am, and I'm about to admit to some stuff that a lot of people don't know about me, but I'm a very great actress, as well as a really great investigator when it comes to finding out stuff about people when I really dig into someone. So I see this phone number that keeps calling me, and they also try to Google Duo me. I have Google Duo on my phone because my sisters don't have iPhones. So I Google Duo them when I want to video chat with them. So someone tried to Google Duo me from this 323 number. And I'm like, who is this? And I'm thinking this is a woman that's been stalking me because I have a female stalker. So there's a whole nother scenario on that one. I'll get to that one on another Dating Worlds episode. But so I called the number because at this point I'm like, I'm frustrated. I don't know who this is. So I called for one of my Google numbers. I'm like, let me see who this is. So I called for him and thinking it was that person. And who answers is Gerald. And I'm like, why is Gerald answering this? And I kind of switched my voice up, did not sound like myself. So he was like, hello. And I was like, hello. So I was like, hello. I had changed my voice up a little bit because I instantly noticed it was his voice. And I was like, someone called me from this number. And he was just like, who are you calling for? I was like, who is this? And he was like, oh, you might be looking for my wife. I have her phone right now. Are you looking for Keisha? And at this point, I was just like, WTF? Are you serious right now? Because literally, I had just spent the day with him the day before we went to Six Flags. And we spent all day with each other. And he spent the night over here. And he literally left out that morning, going to work. So at this point, I'm kind of, I'm like, what? So, I kept my composure and I stayed in character. One thing I will say that I'm a really great actress. I stayed in character. And so I played along with him. And I started asking questions. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do work with her. I'm like, I thought this was her number. Like, how's everything going? I was like, why are you answering her phone? And he was like, oh, I have her phone because her phone was messed up. And I'm about to take it to her. She's at work. I was like, oh, yeah, that's good. I was like, yeah, I used to work with her. He was like, oh, you used to work with her at CBS? And I'm like, yep. So at this point, now I know his wife. He has a wife. And she works at CBS. And I'm like, okay, great. I was like, all right, so, I'm just going to keep having this conversation. I'm going to just keep on talking and get more information. And I was like, oh. I was like, and, so you like the father, you have kids, right? And he was like, oh, yeah, we have 2 girls and a boy. And I'm just like, this boy got kids? I was like, dang. I'm like, so at this point, I'm just going on and on. So I get a lot of information out of him at this point. And he was like, well, I told her you called, when I told you call when I hang up the phone. And I'm like, all right, cool. So at this point, I'm just like in shock because at no point in time did I ever think this man had a wife and kids or anything. So at this point, I'm just like perturbed. I'm like pissed off and mad. I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm just really frustrated. So I don't think anything of it. I tell my friends what's going on. Everybody's in shock. Because like I said, no one ever thought about him being actually with somebody else. The people thought he was just weird or nerdy or kind of stupid. But we just thought he was just acting kind of weird because of him, his love for sports, not sports, but his love for video games and stuff. We did not know that in actuality, this man had been lying the whole time about everything. So the next day, I get a phone call because the wife actually is trying to see who called her phone. So she calls and we have a conversation. So she tells me that she knows who I am. She's seen my number come up on his phone multiple times. Asked about him and he said I was a video game friend and everything. So we started exchanging information and I learned a lot of stuff about this man. That they do indeed have 3 kids. They're not his physical kids. She had the kids before they actually got together. They had been together for like over 11 years. She didn't even know his actual work schedule. She was asking me about his job because he was telling her that he does a lot of overnights and stuff, which in actuality he didn't. So his overnights were when he would spend a night at my place or go out with me or something is what his nights would consist of. So this man was lying to not only me, but her. And apparently this wasn't the first situation and where he was doing this to her. And the reason why he had been acting out for the last 2 years and why he had no social media presence at all whatsoever is because they were on a fritz because she had actually cheated on him right after they got married. Because they were together for, I think, 14 years, been married for like 4 or something like that. So at this point, I'm just like, wow. And then she proceeds to tell me, don't tell him I know. And I'm like, okay. So, at this point, I'm just like, okay, this is crazy. This whole situation's been crazy. This man has been lying to me for months now. It's been like about 5 months. Like we have spent so much time together, and I never in a million years ever considered him being married. Like I said, he would disappear sometimes, but then I would chalk it up to him being like at work or something or playing video games or something. Because we would play a lot online, and he would be video chatting with me online and stuff and things like that. So I never thought of anything because I would be busy too doing things. And we always would communicate with each other. He was always texting, always calling, and he wasn't a phone person ever. So I always just, I never really thought. But, he played the game pretty well. I would give him the props on some things. But also I would say I took a part in it because I took a blind eye to a lot of things he was saying. Because I was also not physically dating him only. So I was also talking to other people. So I wasn't paying that much attention because other people were occupying my time as well. So I would say that the situation became really crazy between me and him. I did have to part ways with him when I found out he was married. I was like, this is not cool. He tried to lie and said they were separated. She confirmed that they weren't. She sent videos and pictures of him where he said he was staying at with his best friend. Was not true. He actually physically lived with her, and they stayed on the other side of town in LA, not in Koreatown. So they stayed in Watts. So that was a whole other situation and stuff too. But just in everything and all, it was just crazy how this man literally came up with this whole other life that he had. He had a whole nother job, life, career, education, everything that he made up in his mind that he would tell people what he was doing. In actuality, that wasn't his real life. His real life was he's a janitor from Watts with no college education, no education at all, and period. And then I found out this man graduated a year later than what he was supposed to. Not because of his birthday coming late, because his birthday is in January. He was held back because he is special. So I ended up dating a special guy who's a janitor with no education, 3 kids, and lives in Watts with 5 or 6 people in his house. I'm ashamed of that one, but things happen. It's a life lesson. But one thing I can say, I got a lot of material out of it. So hey, what can I say? But that's the end of the Gerald situation. I was able to sum it up in 2 episodes. That wasn't bad. But tune in next time because I think the next one I want to talk about would be good old Albert. That's the good one to talk about. Yeah, that was going to be part of about 8 episodes. But definitely tune in. Follow me on Instagram, Naomi the Great. Follow me on Instagram, my Dating Woes page. My website, www.naomithegreat.com. Hit me up. Peace. I'll let you later.